All right. Well, here we are. And tomorrow is my 3-year anniversary with Karina. We will be putting up Karina Part 2. So she's done 2 interviews for Patreon, and we already recorded it, but we will put it up tomorrow for our anniversary. And I let my VIP members of Patreon ask the questions. She'll get on and answer all of them. Uh, God, it seems like a lot more has happened in 3 years. We've had a kid. I've been to prison. Now I'm out of prison. And then this last year's been pretty cool, at least career wise. I mean, I lost Paul, and honestly, that's like the biggest loss. That's the greatest loss I've ever taken. So, I'd way rather still be broke and really struggling to have him 100%. I mean, something like that's immaterial and priceless. I think the older you get, the more you realize that the most important things don't cost anything. People you love. And I think 90% of us would rather the people we love be around us than make a proverbial pact with the devil and just have whatever you want. I want to be rich, but all my friends and family can die. There's people that will definitely do that, especially now. I was just having this conversation with someone recently, just with social media, the way that everything is. It's a weird time. Um, and then of course everything that's happening right now. But I have to reflect back on anniversaries like this. We met on May 5th, which is Cinco de Mayo. Met at her barber shop. We had sex the first night. Just because my personality is so irresistible, or because she's a smart person, knew that we would go on to make a beautiful child together. And I know that neither one of us would take back 1 second of it for what we have now and for what we have with Nico. Having a child to me is the most beautiful thing I've experienced in life. Procreation. There's nothing better than it. Or I mean, just having a child. I don't know if I can adopt with felonies, probably because I'm not a choma. But who knows? The laws are so ass backwards. I could see them being like, "Oh, you want a child? Let me see your record." Oh no, 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 no! Drug dealing, pimping, which is not a sex crime. We'll get into that. I know. I thought that when I first got, I was like, "Am I a sex offender?" And people are like, "No, you're good." I was like, "Okay, you sure I can go to GP?" They're like, "Yep." I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm a pimp." They're like, "Oh, don't even trip." So is that fool? I was like, "Okay, cool." Despite what people say, oh, you can't even walk the yard with pimping. Bullshit. Bullshit. If I show anyone saying that, if somebody's saying that, they don't know what they're talking about. I was on a level 3 yard starting out with that charge. Nobody did anything about it. So, well, I go, but then the adoption agency place will like rent to it. They'll be like, oh, I see Chomo stuff. Hey man, here you go. Here's a key to a convertible too. No, 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 just do what you want. No, we're not even tripping. I mean, for the longest, somebody had made a comment and said that now you can get EBT welfare with a drug sales charge. You used to be able to get welfare if you were a pedophile, but you couldn't get it if you were a convicted drug dealer. How ass backwards is that? I just don't understand. Like I've been saying my whole career in criminal justice reform. I think they need to stop, they need to repeal the draconian drug laws. We need to liberalize some of these drug laws that are just insane, giving people life sentences for ghost dope, for not even getting caught with actual tangible dope. They're just like, that guy gave me 10 kilos. And the judge is like, I already know. Life. I've seen shit like that happen. And people are like, that's not how it works. Well, yeah, then you dealt with the state case. Anybody that's been to the feds will tell you that does happen all the time. And people go get life sentences for ghost dope, for drugs, life sentences. That's crazy. We need to end the war on drugs, and we need to wage a war on sex crimes, period. Period. I want to see the same overzealousness, the same fervor military dudes in, our SWAT team in military tactical gear, busting down the door and, scaring the shit out of the chomo. You see that with drug dealers all the time. You always see them do it, and there's like some paisa who doesn't speak English. He has no idea what's going on. You think he's like, oh, must not have paid my electrical bill this month. They get very mad about this. Okay, guys, take me. But like, he's not speaking English. They don't even know, there's a lot of paisas that seriously, I think they get recruited by cartels and they come here and they're like, excuse me, boss. Can I get in trouble for this? I thought this doesn't seem like it, what, legal? Oh, no. You're fine. You're fine. And then the paisa gets like a life sentence. You see that shit all the time. You see paisas in there that like, they're like, get a job in like Tijuana, and their bosses are like, yeah, you can just take this car over the border. We'll give you, how does 1,000 pesos sound? And they're like, 1,000 pesos. I'm there. And they like drive a car across the border. They don't even know that it's like dead bodies in there, and like science experiment kits, and like a mobile drug, a meth lab, or, they have people go across the border with some crazy shit. And a lot of times you think that they're in on it, a lot of times it's not like that at all. I've met all sorts of people in the feds that told me that they didn't know that there were drugs in the car, but they'd have like tattoos. They have like MS-13 tattoos right here. Like, you're MS-13, and they're like an El Salvadorian satanic gangbanger, but you didn't know that there was kilos and dead bodies in the car? No, nope, no, bro. They'll set me up, bro. Oh, all right. Patreon.com/Ryan Leone. I'm doing cameos now. I think I did like 6 of them today. They're $20. As they say, for 2 minutes, but I'll do like 3 minutes. And I donate all of that money to my Paul project. Let me give you a slight update on that. So what we're trying to do now, first of all, we talked about this in the last video. I got to find out the legality of sending it to certain states. If I go to prison for the 4th time for trying to send free Narcan to people, I would check out. I mean, that checks out. All right. I'll put my hands behind my back. Credit where credit's due, officer. Go ahead. No, arrest me. Yeah. What's the charge? Possession of Narcan with intent to be a solid, nice person. How much time am I looking? Oh, 10 years? No, yeah. It's all right. I'm a bitch. You guys have been doing this to me for years. All right, cool. All right. Get out. Nico's like a NASCAR driver, like fucking 40. But yeah, so I'm putting money into doing a personal website, but I'm also getting a package deal to get a better interface with that. That guy's going to do SEO and hosting for it. And so we already have MailChimp where we've taken the addresses. So now we can compile the addresses and we can send them out to you. Now we have to cover legal fees, and the website's going to be expensive. And I'm finding various ways to raise the money. And on that website, I'll do an audit like I originally said when I did a raffle, and I'll break down every single receipt and show you exactly what I spend my charity on. I never see charities do that. I think that they should be required to. I will do it just because I'm a shady piece of shit and my word's poo-poo. But I have good intentions with it, and I want to save lives, and I'm not scraping money off it. I'm doing good now. And, I just think there's like a humanitarian obligation to help out, especially with that, and save lives with that. So like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell thing, whatever. How long was that? Oh, that didn't seem that long. It was probably like 10 minutes, which is, I guess, long. But okay, so last time we were talking, pretty much what was going on is we were starting to film the documentary. We'd already done the shots up in Santa Barbara. I was living at Jeff's house. I'd become friends with Nick Stahl at this point. Jim Oles was another person that I was talking to very frequently. Kind of became a father figure in this whole thing, because he wasn't my real father. So he just offered good objective logic. He'd look at it with objectivity and be like, okay, don't do this, do this. And he'd been like that my whole career. He's it taught me the etiquette and what's required of me to carry myself correctly in certain situations, contractually what to do. So I started talking to him a lot, and then we were getting ready to do a bunch of press articles. My friend Seth Ferrante had plugged me, and he was going to do something for Huffington Post, Penthouse, Vice. And then I just got a bunch of different publications. That guy, Tyler, had hooked me up. He was working for Malibu Magazine. We're trying to get me on the cover of it, but I am not worthy of that. They literally said that through a text with the laughing emojis. And then they said, bitch, in a text. They're like, you're a bitch. I'm like, oh, all right. Oh, I guess I'm not getting the cover. They're like, but we'll put you in a section where we ask you 10 questions with 10 other people. So you'll have your own page with 10 questions that everyone else answers. I was like, bomb. All right. But I was just excited that I was starting to get coverage and stuff. And Zach was hooking it up, and I was going to be on the cover of Inked magazine. Just all these different good things started happening around the same time. Tony O'Neill was going to be the supervisor. We had collaborated on that book, Anti-Heroes, in the summer. Told you guys all about this stuff. Karina and I's relationship was not great, but it wasn't bad. I mean, we were just basically exactly what it was. Two people that had met, drunk, wild fling. Then we got sober, and we realized that we were very different people. And, I think not drunk, she's like, damn, this dude's dick is fucking tiny. And his personality's not bomb at all. Whoever said this shit was bomb. Not even funny. He's just some arrogant dude. He got gray hair. His balls are gross. They look like gooseneck. I was like, I love you too, babe. She's like, yeah, me too. So it was like we were trying to coexist, co-inhabit this little room at Jeff's house. I had my smart TV. One time, this is how I got my smart TV. One time I was at a rent when I was living in North Hollywood. This is before her time. And I was like, I'm going to go to a paycheck advance place. So I went to it, and I was like, hey, I'm short on rent. I need a little cash advance thing. They're like, and you know how those go. Oh, sir, we can definitely help you. Let me see your situation. Oh, according to my system, I can give you $2,000 right now. I said, yeah. What's your APR? He's like, oh, it's 340%. Like, what is that? Over 110 or something APR? He's like, oh, yes. Mm-hmm. But because it's Tuesday, it's lower than normal. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, so basically, I pay you $2,000, and then I owe you 3 times that back. He's like, we got a math wizard. I was like, all right, man. Where do I sign? So I got it, and then I was going to pay rent with it. And I went back to my apartment. And I was like, all right, I got the money. My rent was $1,400. Right around that time, I got one of these pop-up ads for Best Buy. It's like, we're having a blowout sale. All smart TVs, $1,400. And I was like, what? And that's when smart, this is 2015, I think. Smart TVs were just becoming the thing, and they were more expensive than that normally. Now you can get a smart TV for nothing, they just give you one. It's like how Trader Joe's gives you free reusable bags. Now you just go to Best Buy. They're like, hey, here's a smart TV. We don't even need this piece of shit anymore. You're like, what? But back then it was no, that doesn't really happen. But back then it was a treasured item. And I remember, coming back and being like, okay, I got my rent. It's $1,400. I got 2 G's, so I can pay my rent. I can get groceries for a couple weeks. But then what am I going to do next month? I was laid off at the time. This is when I was addicted to heroin and I was an alcoholic, and I was living in North Hollywood. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, okay, next month I'm going to be in the same situation, and it's not like I was in any shape to go, get a job. I look like I had fucking Ebola. That's how strung out I was. I had these crazy sores, and they would scab apart. There's no way I'm gonna get a job anywhere unless it's like donating plasma for the carnies or something, you know? So I weighed the situation. I'm like, you know what? Fuck paying rent. I'm just going to get a smart TV. I can keep that forever. Why would I throw this money down? I'm going to get kicked out of here anyway. Fuck this. So I bought the smart TV with that. And sure enough, we got evicted. But anyway, so on to the oh yeah, so but I got to keep the smart TV forever. So now we're living at Jeff's room and we have that smart TV. You know, no, it's like somebody knows how to manage their money correctly. That interest rates on that fucking loan, I owe like $9,000 on that right now. You know, and I'm just I don't know. I can't even fit. It doesn't even matter. The damage is already done. There's that blemish is on my credit report. You know, it's like so bad that I feel like certain lenders would feel bad for me. They're like, oh my god, 115 per APR. What the fuck? Like, dude, I don't even know. I'm a victim of identity theft, dude. Yeah. Yeah. I would buy a smart TV. I don't even know what that means. Not smart enough. So, you know, that's kind of like what our existence looked like. So things started falling apart, as I said in the last video, because of a number of reasons. Nico had a hole in his heart. We hadn't named Nico yet, but our unborn child, the doctor was saying, had a hole in its heart, could be Down syndrome, could be just a birth defect, whatever the case. We're freaking out, as any good parent should. You know, nobody wants to, you know, their child to suffer, especially we hadn't even met him yet, you know. And that's it. Kids make you so soft. Like, you know, I'm gonna be so bad when he's older and he's like, Dad, can I get this Xbox, this holographic Xbox? That was an earthquake or something. That was crazy. No, I'm not tripping. That was really weird. The whole house was like, I like that part in Jurassic Park where there's like a cup at Jurassic Park where there's a cup on the dashboard and it just like starts moving. That's what it was like. My whole house did that. Maybe somebody huffed and puffed and tried to blow our house down or something. There's a bunch of fucking weird LA hookers that hang out outside of our place. All right. So anyway, what was I just talking about? God, my ADD is so bad. It's ridiculous. Like I try to get. I have so much stuff to do. My list of things that I have to do when I wake up, it's so overwhelming. Tomorrow we're going on vacation for 2 days for our anniversary, and I'm taking a break. I need it. I'm way too overworked with the book and everything. The film, everything. It's just so much. It's so much to maintain it all. It really is hard. You know, I talked to Monte Harris on the phone last night, and he's like, dude, I don't think people understand like how much you got to juggle. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's a lot. It really is a lot, and I'm not complaining about that. I'm grateful that I have so much stuff to do, but fuck, man, and it makes my ADD run wild. So, the hole in the heart was one of the biggest sources of stress at that time. Also, I mean, I had a pending legal case. It was inevitable that I was going to go back to prison, and I knew that. I just gotten into like a mutual. I'd say I fired Adam, piece of shit attorney. I fired him, and then my dad had told me that he was the one that told them that Karina had been arrested for accessory to murder after the fact. What kind of attorney does that? That's crazy. That's like that's insane that an attorney would do that. That's a big deal. Like you can't do that. What a scumbag. Um, so I had that going on. Then I had my PO, and then I had my therapist who, you know, I was like, huh, can't get my chick to do the walrus. And she's like, what's that? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you. No, please. Well, I come in her mouth, and then I put my hand over her mouth, and then I punch her in the stomach, and I watch cum spew out of her nose like walrus tusks. Oh, it's 4:00. I gotta go. I'll see you. How'd I do? Fine. And then she, you know, she'd tell him, she'd be like, I think he's a hedonistic drug addict. How'd you crack that case, bitch? You know, it's crazy. It was really, you know, when I was getting drug tested, now I'm starting to smoke pot. And remember, I think I had ended last video talking about I had gotten a dirty drug test. Josh, my PO, had called me and he's like, it was like one of those things where he was triumphant, like, we got you, you came up for amphetamine. And I said, Josh, I'm not on amphetamine, so send it to the lab. It's a false positive. You can't get me on that, period. I didn't do meth. I mean, I didn't tell him that I had bleach in the fucking UA thing, but I did not do methamphetamine. He's like, are you on any workout supplements? I'm like, dude, if you're saying something like I'm on ephedrine, it's not 1984 in West Hollywood, bro. Like, nobody does ephedrine. Like you, hey fool, hey dog, you got any ephedrine, dog? I'm fucking horny, fool. I'm trying to jog naked with my uncle. I don't give a fuck, dog. Ephedrine, for some reason, makes it okay. Hey, no, I was just joking. It's fucking disgusting. I gotta go though. You know, nobody does that. I was like, hey, there's not a workout supplement that's gonna come out dirty for meth. He's like, well, they have all this caffeine in it now. Stop, dude. Stop, please. It's a false positive. It happens. So he's like, well, we're sending it to the lab. We know it's an amphetamine. We just don't know if it's an amphetamine or methamphetamine. Like, basically saying, like, you're about to get violated. Like, you're fucked no matter what. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you're a scumbag. So that's like the beginning of when we started beefing. So now in my mind, I'm like, okay, they're going to send it to the lab, which is kind of scary to think about, that they had that much power over me, that they could send something to the lab and just be like, oh yeah, he's dirty. Bye. You know, and it's their word against mine. What am I going to do? Like, go to the violation hearing and be like, Your Honor, I need you to present my dirty urine analysis in a frank evidential hearing type manner. Be like, nah, dude, 2 years. You know, I mean, that's just how it is. It's kangaroo court. If you're on probation or parole, you're fucked no matter what. So now I had that going on too, where like I'm thinking I'm probably going back to prison very soon. And that's like one of the problems. I've explained it a million times. When you're facing prison time, it's like going through a breakup. You wake up every morning and you're empty, no matter how good your life is. Like, I'd wake up like next to Karina and she give me blowjobs all the time, and then I would like start crying. She'd be like, that's really weird. You should probably get on psych meds. And I'd be like, oh, I'm going to prison. Fuck. I hate my life. You just can't enjoy your life. It sucks. You know, if anyone's out on bail, if anyone has an impending, no matter what happens, it doesn't matter what happens. It's very hard to be happy at that point. So when Seth started writing the article about me for Penthouse, and the prostitute from the case said that I wasn't a pimp. They only had no pimp. He had a simp. A light bulb went off in my head. Now, when I was in prison for the first time, 5 years, one of the things that I thought struck me the most, besides the violence, besides the butt fucking conga lines, there was no butt fucking conga lines. I wish there were. That was when I was in the sober living, the halfway house. That's when we started doing that. You know, we're practicing. We're about to be out. It's like, dude, we're about to be going to nightclubs, dude. We need to do butt fucking conga lines. That's what they're all doing now. All right, so sorry. I was appalled by the way that guards treated me. They won't give you pillows. They'll mock you. You know, like your like first night in prison. It's like in Shawshank. You know, where everyone's like betting on the guy. They're like, oh, I'll take the fatty. Life wasn't easy for Andy Dufresne. You know, they mock you, but it's not the inmates. The inmates like aren't, you know, I mean, you're definitely not with the best people in the world, but they're not like shut up, you know. And then I don't even remember what they say, but they like mock him. It's more the guards that do that. Like, you know, you're like, hey, sir, and you say, sir, like you're respectful. I'm respectful. I used to be. I went through a period where I was like, you know, fuck you, pig, and they like tackle me. Grapefruits would like come out of my armpits because I was like had like was like walking around making pruno like in my like under my shirt and shit. Um, but for, you know, when I first got there, I gave them the respect because I've always been one of those people that wants to treat other people the way that I wanted to be treated. You know, I probably didn't say that right, but you know what I'm trying to say. Um, and I'd be like, hey, sir, I didn't get my pillow. And he just like, and I, you know, I'm locked in the cell. You know, it's after like count. I'm like, damn, I can't. This sucks, man. Like by myself. I'm like, I need a pillow. I go knock on the door. Like, hey, sir, come by. Yep. What's up? Hey, can I get a pillow, dude? I can't sleep without a pillow. This is really uncomfortable. And he just up he gets on his walk. He's like, hey, Mike, Jerry, get in here. There's some fucking fish in here. What an idiot. He just asked, he just asked for a pillow. What a bitch. You know, and you're just like, damn, dude, a fucking simple no would have sufficed. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you gotta mock me like that. Or, you know, I'll never forget this. You know, this shit, and these are like little detailed nuances that I think are important for people to know about prison, just to kind of like exemplify or paint a picture of how fucking ridiculous it is. So when you're in the feds, you get a case manager and you get a counselor. And those are like, that's like team. That's your little like, those are the people that do stuff for you. When I say do stuff for you, I'm talking about like, hey, can you print out this form for me so I can like have my chick come visit me? And they'll just roll their eyes and they'll be like, oh, it's Monday. Why can't you come in the beginning of the week, Leonie, just like everybody else? I'm like, dude, it's Monday at 6 a.m. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, oh. They like shut the door in your face and like put the close sign on. Shit. Hit that. And so I'll never forget this. So I just got to Victimville. This was back in 2009. I was a scared little fish, you know, getting straight off the bus, convinced that I'm about to get butt fucked, you know. I'm like asking people on the bus, I'm like, hey, um, is the first butt fucking bad or I don't know. I mean, what do you do? Like after that, are you friends after that or no? It's weird. It's weird. Don't talk to them. No eye contact. Okay. You know, like I'm preparing for it and shit because that's, you know, that's the myth perpetuated about prison. And I end up getting there. I'm scared. They put Tom in my fuck. I'm mad. They put that weirdo in my cell. I got laughed at about the pillow, you know. And then the next day, the counselor was walking by because I kept asking people questions. I'm like, hey, how do I do this? Hey, the counselor's going to be here tomorrow, bro. He can answer all that. Okay, cool. So he comes and, you know, people are like that in prison. They'll be like, yo, Leone, look, counselor. And I like, so I run up to him and I was like, hey, man, I'm Ryan. I'm on your caseload. I just moved into the unit. And I put out my hand to shake his hand. And he just like goes up to shake it and then just like puts it away and just starts laughing hysterically. And all the inmates start laughing too, which I always was like, damn, dude, like you're going to laugh at an inmate just because I'm green. Like that's not what's up. You're going to extort. Like I can't stand these. Like, look, I've said it a million times. I'm not a racist guy. I'm not at all. I look down on it. I think racism is just, it's stupid. You know, there's plenty of piece of shit every race. It doesn't bother me like if someone's black or gay or Native American and they cry when you like throw a Carl's Jr. Burger outside of the window. That's a reference to that old ad on TV. They also did it in Wayne's World too. I don't care. But you know, I also but when I'm in prison, I'm down for my race. I'm down. You know, if I see any other race at a white guy, I'm jumping in right off. I'm just not even going to question. I'm just going to do it. You know, I'm actually, as much as I make fun of myself, I think I've been a pretty solid convict throughout. And I was always principled, at least, you know, and you know, all these guys would laugh at me, but I remember how humiliating that was. Me going to shake this guy's hand. That's just a very human thing to do for a man to hug another man's hand or a man to shake another man's hand. And he laughed at me. And then like everybody started laughing at me. And it was humiliating. You know, and that was wrong in the counselor, and that was also wrong of the inmates. You should be in there to like not make a fool out of people. You should say, look, I know you're new. This is what we're got to do. Get on a workout program. Like, it's not going to be that bad. How much time you doing? 20 years. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell you anything. It's not. You're probably going to have a homosexual experience after about 14 or 15 years. Just keeping it real. But you don't have to. But when do you go home? What's your sentence? No, I go home in March. I got 5 years. Yeah, I'm not going to do any gay stuff. I got to go. So it's our duty to train these people. And so anyway, so the point of this is, during my time in prison, especially when I started writing Wasting Talent, and I started having, like, goals and aspirations and wanting to make something out of my life, I started thinking that once I made it, I wanted to start a nonprofit to help keep people out of prison, to help people that were in prison, and just to help with prison reform. I don't even know if I was aware of that term yet. I just knew that there was a lot of things that I disagreed with the criminal justice system. And in my delusional mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to write this book. This book's going to take me to all, I'm going to be like, crowd surfing at like music festivals. And everyone will be like, dude, you're my favorite writer, shit like that. I don't know. I was 25 at the time. Like that means anything. um, and so when all this other stuff started happening, the penthouse, now I got this attorney, everything all at once, it was just too much. The therapist screwing me over, telling me that she wasn't going to tell my PO if I admitted that I did anything, if I committed a new crime. I told her, oh, I'm just an intern, sorry. I put that call on Patreon, by the way. That call that we recorded, you can listen to that whole conversation on Patreon, how she completely fucked me over. It was bad. She like admits to it on the phone. So I'm like, let me get this straight. You coerced me into telling you this, and now you're using it against me when you told me that there was a law that protected me. That's what you're telling me. And you didn't disclose the fact that you were an intern. None of that? No? All right. Cool. I'll write you when I'm in jail. Bye. So when all this, positive stuff started happening, I was like, you know what? Penthouse is giving me positive press attention. That's just one, magazine. I mean, it's a print porn magazine. How many people are reading that nowadays anyway? Still very, very, very proud to get in it. Probably just because I grew up jerking off to it. I mean, that's like, never once when I was a kid, I'm like, man, dude, look at this lesbian spread. Ryan, what are you doing? I got a stomach ache, Mom. Leave me alone. You always have a stomach ache. And then she'd like tell her friend, she'd like, well, he's going through that phase. He's always got a stomach ache. And then like their friends would be like, haha. And they like look at me and they're like, it looks just too cute to be masturbating. That's so adorable. I'm like, ew, dude. What the fuck, Mom? I'm out of here. So, okay. So a light bulb went off. I was like, wait a second. I'm getting favorable press. I had all these other things in the queue: Vice, LA Times, LA Weekly, Santa Barbara Independent, Malibu Magazine, Inked Magazine. I think we had High Times then. I don't know. Later, maybe. I don't know. I think by this point we had like all of these things happening. So I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. The documentary is going to get made, and it's going to come out while I'm in prison. But maybe I can sway public opinion enough where I won't go to prison, because I didn't deserve to go to prison. I was supervising a prostitute. That's what the name of that charge should have been. It's not a pimp. Not even cut like a pimp. I don't even listen to pimp music. Well, sometimes I do. But, I didn't deserve that. What I did was a misdemeanor. Yes, it was still a crime. Did I know it was illegal? Yes. But I'm not a pimp. I never have. I've never made $1 off of that. Ever. Ever. I'm not saying like I even look down on it. I don't even care. It's like consensual adults should be able to do whatever they want. If there's a guy coercing somebody into prostitution, yes, that's horrible. That's a dirtbag thing, But it's like it speaks to a larger issue of consensuality. It's like, okay, well, prostitution's so dirtbag. Oh, that's so gross. Okay. The irony is that you watch porn. Then don't watch porn. Well, I don't watch porn. I haven't watched porn since 1965. And I saw it Kinda involuntarily is a way to put it. Bullshit. Bullshit. You watch porn. Same people that want, ew, gay people, and then you want to watch fucking lesbian porn. You know? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, stop being hypocritical, please. You know? It's silly. If you're not hurting another person, it shouldn't be a crime. You want to shoot heroin? Do it. You're hurting yourself. Emotional pain is not illegal. You can't call the cops and be like, dude, this dude's being mean to me. He must go to jail. Could you imagine if that was a law? Everybody would be in jail. Physical harm to somebody else. Physical harm. When you shoot heroin, you're not hurting somebody else. Maybe emotionally, maybe mentally, but you're not doing anything physically to them or sexually against their will. That's the kind of shit you should go to jail for, period. Period. You steal, you rob, you hurt somebody, go to jail. You do anything fucking creepy, molest a kid, rape, jail, jail, jail. And I wanted to fight for sweeping prison reform. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a nonprofit. I'm going to raise money. I'm going to do charity shit. I'm going to help get myself out of prison. And I'm going to help with this cause that I've felt very deeply about for most of my life since I've been to prison. Zach and I were fighting, over the cut, over his girlfriend, but we'd make up, we'd make up and we'd make out. He's like, dude, let's just make out. I'm like, all right. Ew. Are we cool now? Yeah, we're cool. No, but he'd make up with me. So he's like, so how do you plan on pulling this off? So I just came up. This is the one word. You can ask Jeff. You can ask Karina, a mother and father. This is the one word that everybody will say is the reason that I went crazy. The event. I said, let's have an event. Let's have an event and let's have celebrities there. Let's have musicians there. We'll have it at the local theater where they have the Santa Barbara Film Festival. We'll get a bunch of big names here. I know enough people, which I didn't. I did not know enough people to be able to pull that off. And I was, my big court date was coming up December 5th. So I had to plan it before that. It's probably on the timeline. It's probably like November 1st. And I have to I'm trying to do the event December 2nd when I think of it. So I said the event. I said to Zach, I'm like, hey, I want to do this event. And Zach was like, dude, I don't do events. I don't do events. It was like garlic to a vampire. I mean, the whole event thing really freaked him out. He's like, I'm not going to do that. So it became anything with me. I have an obsessive compulsive disorder. Anything that I do, I overdo. Anything that I get into, I just get obsessed with. I'm into art right now. I'm just obsessed with art. That's all I do, in my recreational time. I'm working out again. I'm all into it again. I don't do I'm like an extremist. I think a lot of addicts have that personality. So the event just became all consuming. So everybody told me, every single person, Seth told me, Zach, Nick, Jim, Santos, everybody told me that the event was a horrible idea. You're not going to be able to pull it off in time. So I started making the calls. I started planning it from scratch. I've never planned an event in my entire life. Events for me is hey, let's go get a pony keg and we'll put it in Jesse's mom's minivan and we'll go get faded when we're 29. That's the only event planning that I had under my belt. So the first thing that I did is I called about the venue. And mind you, I am still waiting for the results of this amphetamine test. So I could be going to jail any day. So it's every day felt like at any moment it could all come crashing down. So I called this place, the Libero Theater, the Libero Theater in Santa Barbara, California. It's where they have the Santa Barbara Film Festival, and talked to the guys, very nice. And I said, hey, how much would it cost to have an event there? So what kind of event? I said, for prison reform, charity. I think I'm going to try to invite some big name people. I had no idea what it was going to turn into, but it got really out of control. But at this point, I didn't know what was about to happen. And I think the event, if you ask any single person, they said, this is why I went crazy. So he said that they could do it. I think it was $10,000 for the venue. And you had to come up with a $5,000 deposit. I said, okay. And he's like, and we take the rest out of the back end tickets. So you sell the tickets and then we take the revenue out of it. I said, okay, that's perfect. He's like, yeah, no problem. So that's the first thing, securing the venue. Now, I didn't have the money to get the venue, but Max and I were becoming really close again. That's the guy with the bloody tampon in his Tahoe, inherited money. I love Max. I love Max to this day. And his ex has encouraged me to reach out to him. And there's just too much going on for me right now. But he's one of those people that I'll always care about, you know? I mean, by the time we get to the end of the story, you'll be like, oh my God, like, I don't know if that's salvageable. But like, I've seen him comment like on face, like when Paul died. We're not friends on Facebook, but I think, you know, my chick posted something about it, and I saw Max give me condolences. I mean, he's a gentleman, but we had a nasty falling out over this event. So I hit him up first. I said, hey, Max, because he was already putting money into my documentary. Remember, he'd come, he'd done an interview for us. He was very impressed with the whole production thing. He wanted to be involved. And, you know, I started pitching the event to him. I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this event. We'll get like we'll get like a big rapper or like a big rock and roll band, whatever it is. That's how we'll sell the tickets. We'll premiere the trailer for Idiot Savant, my documentary. We can use the event to get more press. We can do press releases, all that kind of stuff. We'll get a bunch of press. And we'll raise money for my nonprofit. We'll launch one, call it the Prodigy Foundation, to expand literacy, to end mass incarceration, all sorts of, you know, things towards the multifaceted prison reform movement. And, you know, at first Max was like, I don't know, it's about a month away. Don't we need like to plan this like 6 months ahead of time? I said, no, don't trip. He's like, well, who's the music act? I'm like, I don't know. I'll find somebody. He's like, okay. So he's like, if you find somebody big enough and you can kind of make me feel secure with the investment, I'll lend you the money to do the deposit. I said, oh, okay, great. So then I started trying to get musicians. I don't know a lot of musicians. I know more now than I used to, but I still don't know that many to this day. You know, I'm trying to think of who I know. I don't know. I know Mickey Avalon, you know, but I don't know. Musicians are just one. I respect the shit out of it. I respect hip hop, rock, electronic music, punk, everything. I respect it. You know, even country. I don't like country, but I respect it. I didn't really know musicians. You know, I knew writers. That's like the main thing. I knew writers. Now I knew Nick. I knew like one act. I knew a handful of actors, but not really. So I started going on Twitter, and I started like looking around and trying to think of who would be a good fit. I saw Immortal Technique do a tweet. Now, Immortal Technique is a really good underground hip hop artist that I grew up on. I'm sure a lot of people that watch my channel know who that is. He does the song Dance with the Devil. It's like his biggest song. He also does Peruvian Cocaine that uses the sample from Scarface. Badass underground hip hop artist. I love him to this day. Very socio-political. He's a radical, and I just like a lot of the stuff he says, and I like what he's about. I'd seen him perform a bunch of times. I'd seen him with Max. You know, that's like somebody that we like. We grew up on underground hip hop together, and that's somebody we liked. I mean, he's got like some massive online following. So, you know, I reached out to him and I said, hey, how do I book you for a show? And just tweeted at him. Writes me back, and he follows me. He follows me so we can talk. So, you know, on Twitter, you can pretty much DM anyone, but like when you follow each other, it goes into like your main mailbox. I guess it's just like Facebook or Instagram. And he's like, what's up? It was kind of trippy talking to him. I mean, it's somebody I'd been a fan of for a long time, but I mean, at this point I was already kind of becoming disillusioned, all that kind of stuff. So I broke it down for him real quick. I said, look, I'm doing this prison reform event. He's like, oh, I love prison reform. I said, cool. We talked. He's like, I'm with it, in solidarity. Cool. Right. I'm like, all right. So, you know, I asked him how much it would be, and he's like, okay, so I'm repped by this company in New York. It's called Viper Records. This is what label I'm on. You got to talk to the guy directly that does like the booking stuff for me. I was like, all right, cool. So he gave me his phone number. So he said he was down for it and he could do it on that date, which was big news. Immortal Technique is big enough in Santa Barbara where he can generate a a following or whatever. Um, like he could sell out this place, this little venue. I think the venue seated like 800 people. I'll post a lot of the stuff on Patreon. I have all sorts of stuff from this era. I probably have like the most footage, pictures, and everything from the breakdown period. And like you see me like ask people on Patreon that I've already posted like some of the breakdown videos where I'm like losing my mind and like the FBI is after me. They're like, it's pretty scary to see me in that state. I'm like, damn, I look like a straight psychopath. But so I ended up talking to Immortal Techniques management or label or whatever at Viper Records. I don't remember what the guy's name was, but he was like, yeah, we can do it. And he told me what the price was, and it was significant. It was pretty on par with what the venue is going to cost in its totality. It was going to be like 10 racks, I think a little more than that. And that's just what we had to pay him up front. Yeah, we had to pay him. That's what the deposit was, 10,000. And I was like, okay, cool. So I go back to Max and I go, okay, Max, I got Immortal Technique and I got the venue. He's like, no way, Immortal Technique. I was like, yeah. He's like, how'd you get him? I was like, I don't know. I just talked to him on Twitter. He's like, what the fuck? How does that? Most random shit happens to you. What the hell? All right. Yeah, I'll do it. I was like, really, dude? He's like, yes, I'll do it. I think that you're right. I think it'll help get you out of prison. I believe in you. I love you. Just being super cool. He just got engaged. He's about to get married, a big house, kid. I loved his kid and I loved his fiance and I loved him. It was all good. This event fucking ruined us all. So, the more I talked with Viper Records, the way that it works is they sent us like all these like demands. It's called a rider. If you're a musician, you know what that is. If you're a professional musician, I'm a writer, so I don't get a rider. You have to be a musician to have a rider. I mean, I think like the Rolling Stones were famous for it because you can make it's like making hostage demands, and they're the most ridiculous shit ever. It's like, I want 13 pounds of M&Ms, only peanut light green. Like there's shit. I swear to God, there's shit like that. I think the Rolling Stones were at the worst. They're like, I just want the orange of the Reese's Pieces, and I want this and this and this. This was like whatever, it was random weird shit. It was like, we need 6 Monster Energy drinks. We need 2 Evians. We need a pack of beef jerky. We need we need this. We need armed security. We need this kind of hotel. I mean, it's like it's a demand list. I've never seen one. It was like, I need 35 Kleenexes. I was like, oh my God, dude. Imagine the sex riot debauchery that goes on with these people. I like Immortal Technique, and even though we're going to see what's going to happen with all this, I hold nothing against him or Antoine Dixon or any of those people. I seriously, I'm a fan of Antoine Dixon skating, and I'm a fan of Immortal Technique's music. I have nothing against them, nothing on this side. And that's kind of like what happened. We started setting the wheels for this. And this all sets up to like just a completely crazy breakdown that we'll start getting into. And then we'll get into the third prison term, so you guys will be happy. And then I don't know what we'll do. We'll just come on here and start juggling. I'll be like, hey guys, I'm out of stories. Check out these oranges I can juggle. It's just with like 2 oranges. Everyone's like, you're a bit. It's 2. I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Do the little notification thing. Patreon.com/Ryan Leone. Check out cameo.com/Ryan Leone 85. My Instagram and Twitter is Ryan Leone 85. And anytime you get a cameo, it's $20 for a custom video. It goes towards my nonprofit, and we're really working hard on that. We got your guys' names on the list. That was the first step. Now we got to get, we have to get the tax exempt, which I'm trying to do through my old nonprofit, but we might have to. It's very complicated. We need that though to be able to do better charity stuff, and we need to get the website going, and I need to get a PO box. I need to just do a bunch of shit with it, and slowly but surely I'm doing it. And I'm not doing it to make any profit. I'm doing it out of memory for Paul, and I'm doing it to help save people's lives from overdoses, because I think that he definitely would want that, and it's just a tribute to him, every time that a live gets saved from Narcan that I send out, it's because of me and him and anybody that supported along the way. But I can always rest assured that that I did something to really honor how much value and worth he had in my life as a friend. I appreciate you. Stay safe. I'm going on my anniversary trip tomorrow. I'm going to be away for 2 days, but knowing me, I won't be able to not post stuff or work, so I'll probably still do stuff. But I'm doing that. Karina video goes up tomorrow for our 3 years. All right, guys. Palabra. I'll say it again. Palabra.